Who are you and what do you do, if you can tell us that in a nutshell?
So I'm a human being. I think one can detect that oneself. And I think that's the only identity I really take for this life. Other identities or roles, actually. So I'm a grandfather. I'm a three times grandfather. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a human being, as mentioned. I'm a pupil of this world. I'm trying to, with my work, actually guide leadership in a more conscious, a more responsible, more worldly based leadership in that sense. And there's a lot of work to do. So that's an academy which I lead here, and also founded a foundation in Geneva. And there we want to encourage people to find inner peace. It's a global initiative which will bring inner peace to this world. And there are various other organizations where I'm either CEO or founder of it. So it's actually a spiritual path, Metribodh Parivar, where we establish one world, one family as our vision, that we all belong together, that we all come from the same source. And this spiritual organization allows people to experience the best version of themselves, to be natural, to be based actually or deeply rooted in their core of themselves. So this is a various initiatives. Others are like Yao Foundation, which I head up as president, where we give the young people actually an environment or a space to experience what they want to contribute to this world, how they see the world. And there's also a social organization where we do social projects, which actually is the one which I really enjoy very much. Not saying that I don't enjoy the others, but this social work I feel is so meaningful and so important these days. And there we have a project like Human Bridge, where we make play sports together with so-called special needs humans, and it's also a lot of fun. So a lot of my work actually is to have fun, to bring fun, and to enjoy fun.
And you said so much more. Can I go back to two things that I think tackle sometimes a little of misunderstanding? What is consciousness and what is spirituality in your definition? And why does it matter now?
So consciousness is actually everything which we perceive, which we are aware of. Everything is consciousness. You, me, everything is consciousness. And without having consciousness, I don't know how you make a living, because you don't care about things. So consciousness really is so important because we care about it. We care about our consciousness, our thoughts, our words, our actions. And so it's important to, from my point of view, to have this awareness, to have this perception about what is happening within myself, what is happening around myself. And there's no sustainability, there's no holistic view without being able to be conscious about yourself. And so I believe it's very important these days to really address these topics and also to get an understanding of it. Consciousness is quite often misused, and there are various states of consciousness. And I think the beauty of it really, to understand me as a human being, is to be conscious about my being, which is something which is a never-ending, unbelievable and magical story of the existence of oneself.
And spirituality, is that linked?
It is linked, definitely, because as I mentioned, everything is consciousness. So spirituality is also consciousness from my point of view. And spirituality means for me to be the best version of yourself, to go with your nature. I've had many years of my existence where I went against my nature, where I my nature. And so spirituality is really required to be the driving force of us humans or the creation itself, because then you will never exploit the nature. So the climate issues we have, poverty issues we have, and all the other war which we see in this world happening, the uncertainty of this world, all is based actually on not understanding spirituality as your own nature. If you once perceive your own nature, your own spiritual being, then you will not go against anyone. You would live in harmony and in friendship with every human being.
Why?
Because it's your nature. So if I experience myself as a human being, how can I harm you? Because we belong together. We are one world, one family. If I see a true friendship through my spiritual being, then I will never harm the nature. I will never harm a human being or any part of the creation because it's a part of me. So either I harm myself, then I'll harm others, which is happening in this world, many places, or I understand my spiritual being. I get peace with myself, and therefore my actions will be peaceful. So spirituality, from my point of view, is the driving energy of the future of what we want to build. The ones who want to change, the ones who are happy with what is happening out there, please carry on with what you do. But the ones who want change, spirituality is the path actually to experience your own nature, and it all starts with yourself. And once you experience your nature, you will never harm anyone else because it's a part of yours. And it's simple.
Yeah, it's simple, but not straightforward. I believe it's the transformation. Well, what do you believe? How is your personal experience, and also how you work with, especially, I think, corporations or the corporate world, where from my understanding, or I am very careful still to use these words, consciousness or spirituality, because of misunderstandings. How do you go about it?
I don't shy away from any of these wordings like God or the universe or spirituality or consciousness, because it's a fact. And if someone is in irritation with that, that's an opportunity to clarify that. So I am happy when someone is irritated with it and one can sit down and discuss this, because I can also learn from that discussion. It's not like, I think the one who believes one doesn't have to evolve anymore, I think that's quite a boring life. So every discussion, and if it is a dispute or a misunderstanding or a critic about it, is just a source for me to evolve myself and also to clarify things. And I don't shy away from anything or I'm afraid of anything, because for me it is an opportunity of irritation which will help actually change in this consciousness. And we know how the world is conditioned, as you rightly say. The world is conditioned, and therefore we need the way to dissolve this conditioning is just that we challenge the conditioning. Just this morning I had a call with a couple of members, and I told them that, for example, my sister passed away in Switzerland a couple of months back, which was a severe incident in my life. And the authority wants me to set the birth certificate of my sister, because only then for them she is dead. But how can we have a system where you need a birth certificate? Otherwise you are not proven to be dead. I mean, to be dead, there's a body there, and there are doctors who can sign off, or the police can sign it off. And so we have created a conditioned world. We have created a system which is no more human. It doesn't even make sense from a human point of view, but people are reluctant in changing the system. So this simple example which you say, talking about spirituality, talking about consciousness, or talking about God, is an opportunity in the business sector or also in the society to challenge this. Okay, explain to me, why are you irritated about spirituality? I want to understand that. I don't want to attack it. I just want to understand it. Because for me, it is very obvious to be natural is to be spirituality. Do you not want to be natural? Then it's fine. But if there's a misunderstanding on definition, the only way to dissolve this condition is to talk about it as friends.
What is God, in your opinion?
God is a very intimate experience for me. I'm a Catholic, I'm a Christian, but I've never experienced actually God as such through the churches and through all my religious upbringing as such. It only changed when I met Maitreya Dadashrichi on the 11th of May 2013 in India, where I experienced God within myself. And so this experience was something which changed my life, where I am not afraid of anything in this world because it has all been created. And I'm a part of the creation. So why should I be afraid of myself? So to answer your question, for me, God is an energy within myself, which relies in my chest and which I can nourish through having a focus on it. And so once that happened, I never lost the focus or the connection of this source within myself. Now, religion is for me something very helpful for society, that a society can work together if it is practiced in a very righteous way and honest way. And the spirituality is actually this looking within myself. And so the combination of the religion with the values of the religion, which I follow, and the spirituality, which allowed me to nourish this God or divine within myself, which is so-called unique for me, has really given me this connection again back to God.
How do you bring people back to themselves, to the source, to this energy that is within? How do you help people, especially in these times?
It's a very good question. I think you can't bring anyone back. I think first of all, it is very important that this process will only work if you give your consent, like if you want that, if you are a seeker, if you are dry in a sense that you are really seeking for filling this abundance or this wealth within yourself. You see, or one sees that something lacking, and that's the same with me. I sense something is lacking in my life. I had a lot of startup companies and I had a lot of successes and also fails in that process. But even if it was a success or even if it was a fail, it was not fulfilling, in either sense. So I sensed like there's something lacking in my life. And so if you have this urge, actually, which shouldn't be out of desperation, but it should be out of seeking as such, then a person is ready to walk that path. And then it is a question also of what does the person want? So it's a very intimate process as such. We offer programs which people can follow. The most important part is actually that none of these people is dependent on you. That's another aspect. So the one is the seeking. Second one is really not making anyone dependent on you, because it's a liberation. And the liberation of experiencing God, or whatever we want to name it, this energy within yourself, is a freedom-based approach. And then the third aspect is actually that the person is open, is positive, and is relaxed. As mentioned before, if you're desperate, it will not work. You have to be relaxed on that process, and you have to say yes to your personal transformation. So once you say yes, based on what I mentioned before, and you say yes to your personal transformation, being the best version of yourself, then it will work on an auto mode actually towards that. And what we as an organization then offer is to guide people or to walk with people through processes, because it's an internal transformation, and so it's a permanent transformation. You can gather money, that will always be temporary, but this spiritual or this internal process is a permanent process, and there we offer various levels so that you first awaken yourself, then you purify yourself, then you start actually walking your own individual path, and so it goes stepwise more and more into the detail. And for me, it is the most magic journey to yourself. And it's in that sense, you can't compare it, you can't achieve it, you can't work for it. It is just you walk. That's why I say, how do you bring people? You can't actually. The person has to walk their own journey, but you can be there and listening. And I've met around, I think up to now in these 12 years, around 30,000 seekers I've been talking with. And I've seen people walking that path successfully, whatever successful means. And I've also seen people getting deviated from that path, actually. The ones who were not really, were in this consuming of spirituality or in consuming of workshops. So like, I've done this, I have a certification there, I've done this. This has nothing to do with this inner work as such. I think it's also this word spirituality is misused these days for commercial reasons, or for recognition reasons, or I have achieved that. And that will not work on that. So it's a beautiful journey and something which I really honor so much for the people like you and me. We are both walking this path, to already walk this path. I feel like blessed today to discuss this with you.
Thank you. Yes, me too. Me too. And I think honestly, we as there are more and more people coming, this is the snowball effect that the world is just waiting for. As we're now, I feel like more and more going into an, I don't know, people say age of information, but age of energy, really. I don't know if you agree. How can we, with our own energy, create the ripple effect today, positive change?
Mm-hmm. It's actually very easy because, every year, every month, every week, every day, every second has a unique energy, a unique purpose. Also now, 12/20, when we talk on a Tuesday on the 3rd of December, it has a specific energy. We have we are ignorant about the impact of the time. The time is under no one's control, even God or divine or whatever you name it. The universe has no control of the time. It's just running like a river which streams down through a landscape. And so one should understand that where we are right now is this time of truth. So it is about truth. And so how can you create a ripple effect? I would say it's very easy in always speaking the truth. Whatever you feel in your heart right now is the truth for you in this various moment. And I speak the truth. And so your truth might be different than mine, but then we can discuss about that and talk about it and have a dialogue about it. And I think like the work you are doing in publishing a book or talking with people or inspiring people through your own presence will be more than enough. Because how do we create a ripple effect? Through your transformation. It always starts with individual, and through your transformation you'll transform the environment around you. And the same happened with me. Like my transformation changed the environment around me. Not everyone liked these changes. That's also a part of the truth, but that's how it is, So being truthful to yourself, being truthful in what you express out there, and allowing this transformation of yourself to happen is already a ripple.
What are your thoughts on burnout or these labels where people are just running out of their personal energy? Do you think that is the cure, the truth?
Yeah, because people sense that more and more. And you and me have been following this for many years now. And if I have workshops happening, then I can see through the expression of the people, why are you here? That 80 to 90% are because of low energy, unrest in mind, no clarity in life, feeling low in energy, feeling disconnected as such. And if you take every aspect of a human being who talks with you and you go behind it, you will see the ultimate source of the issue is disconnection. So the solution is connection. And what is the connection? It's the connection to your higher self, which you can call God or divine or universe, but it is actually your higher self which resides in yourself. So I give you one example, panic attack. So panic attack is actually a panic or a fear which has not been addressed. So if you do not address, for example, this emotion of fear, then at a certain point it takes its own identity and nature and it comes up like a panic. So there's nothing called as a panic attack as long as we humans do not intervene. But as we have not learned, especially in the West, to express ourselves completely, like I'm not expressing to you because I think Hedi will think that I am so and so if I tell her that. And so I'm acting unnatural. And as I told you before, I speak what I feel. If people get irritated, then I can apologize for that, but I can't move away of being my own nature. So if you start being that, then you also will express fear, like I am afraid or I'm jealous of you. You are so successful, so I'm jealous. Like that, then many of these aspects will be cured. It's our behavior, it's the conditioning of the society, it's our own conditioning which needs to be dissolved to just flow naturally. Because a river never uses any energy to flow. And the same transformed being is a being which lives a life effortless. If we live our life with an effort, we are not natural. So as a leader, to inspire people, hey, be a leader, but be a responsible leader and flow like a river flows, and don't take an effort. Enjoy the moment. And so all these aspects of burnout, and so I take them very serious, because the people are really not in a good state. But then the solution for it is to connect the person to her or himself again.
And to build the bridge, or what would you say?
Yeah,
to hold the torch, so they can walk over the bridge.
I think one part is actually to give them an understanding for the mind, because the mind needs to know what is going on. So you need a certain amount of information or knowledge so that the mind knows, oh, this is going to happen. And if the mind understands it, then the mind will be calm. The second part is to give them some exercises. So give them some exercises so that they can practice it themselves. And the third part is to give them a space to experience that. So once they have experienced it, then it's no more the mind, it is their heart or their core, how we call it, where their experience part happens. And then it's a part of their being. So I've seen so many people who were suicidal, who were in severe mental depression or burnout, and how that change has happened for them. And that's why I believe that we really need to connect, help the people to connect. One can do it as a torch, as you said, or build a bridge. But we just try to use these methods of information, of practice and experience, so that it is not a knowledge which is residing in their brain, but it's an experience which they made by their heart.
The essence of a change maker. How does he or she show up in this world? You say truth. You said fun, flow river, core, heart, has the info to master, has the experience to master. What else am I missing?
I think the main aspects you said, I think that values and ethics is something which is very important, which I see missing in our world right now. And these ethics and values are not learned values. It's not like I go to a course and I learn like, okay, what is self-recognition, what is social competence or social behavior, what is creativity or innovation or emotional growth. That can be very easily misunderstood as knowledge which you achieve. Actually, it is something which comes from within, so that you have your own values, you have your own ethics, and then you follow your thoughts, you follow your feelings, you follow your emotions, you follow your words and your actions to just make sure that you are conscious, that you are aware of what is happening with yourself and how does that relate with your inner values. And you correct yourself accordingly, like to that. Okay, sometimes it happens that I do something which I shouldn't do, but then I am aware of it and I'm ready to correct myself. So mistakes happen, experiences happen, but then through the awareness, through your perception about yourself, what is happening within yourself, then you start correcting yourself. So I think this values and ethics, as well as the awareness of what is happening within yourself, and the compassion, which is a very important point. If you see at people who are mentally in unrest, as soon as they receive compassion as a value which they live, their mind will be calm. So I think also for a change maker, as you address them, it is important that these people, this species, is compassionate about themselves first and about others.
Why first inside and then out?
Because you can't be truly compassionate about others if you're not compassionate about yourself, because they are interconnected with you. So if you have no feeling for yourself, if I have no feeling for myself, how can I feel for others? And many people out there, they know what is right for the other people, but they have no clue what is right for them. So compassion is important, that I am really compassionate about myself, what I'm seeking for, and understanding myself, and only then I can really go out and be compassionate about others.
Thank you so much. What a pleasure.
That's a wrap on another Changeliscious episode where transformation never tasted so good. If your soul's feeling fed, don't forget to follow, leave a love note, aka review, and share the goodness with somebody really ready to flip the script. For more juicy insights and sweet inspiration, follow me, Hedi Schaefer, and let's keep stirring up change that sticks. Until next time, stay real, stay bold, and keep it changelicious.